Hey everyone, I'm Josh, and in this video I want to talk to you about understanding toxic people. Why are they the way that they are? We've all encountered toxic people. We all know that they're incredibly unfun to deal with, and yet it seems like there are quite a lot of people out there like this who fit this category of being toxic. Why is this? How can we understand what is causing people to become toxic? So I want to quickly share with you some of the more common reasons why people end up becoming toxic. And they are because they're unhappy with their life, because they're insecure, because they don't even like themselves, which that one is incredibly common, or even because they suffer from a mental illness. That one's a bit more rare, but it does exist, and that's actually one of the more difficult toxic people to deal with, because if they're suffering from a mental illness, what can you do about it, right? Like, that's a very difficult thing to navigate, because often that means that their brain is literally wired differently than everybody else's, so they often really only can rely on medication to help them. You're not going to be able to help them with their mindset or something, help them see the world differently, because mental illness is a very complicated, nuanced thing. But for the most part, most people who are toxic are that way because of their conditioning. They ended up getting trained to be unhappy, to be insecure, to not like themselves. And that makes the world a very difficult thing to navigate. I mean, think about this. The best way I can put it is, do good people who are happy with their lives go around purposely trying to upset others or cause arguments, fight with other people and that sort of thing? Do they do that? Do good people do that? People who are happy with their lives? No, they don't. So there you go. That's pretty much all you need to think about on how to understand toxic people. They aren't happy with their lives, and they probably haven't been trained what it means to be a good person. Nobody has helped them work on themselves to get to that place. So they're coming from this place of being a bit more unconscious, where they're probably acting out all this conditioning that they grew up with from childhood, probably dealing with parents who weren't all that great, or maybe they didn't even have one of their parents around, or maybe even not even both of them to be there for them. That's difficult to deal with. I mean, when you're growing up, you need all the positive influences you can get, because it's difficult. Kids don't know what's best for them. They don't know the best ways to navigate the world, so they need people to instill that in them. And in the lack of that, it sets people up for failure in life, because they don't have the proper tools needed to work on themselves, to work on their mindset, to develop discipline and other good things that can help them create a great life for themselves. And you look around out there are a lot of people who just don't even know how to work on themselves, or who straight up refuse to because it's difficult work. And you look around out there, and there are a lot of parents who fall into either one or maybe even both of those categories. And that immediately means they're going to have kids who probably are going to have some things messed up in them, because they're not receiving the proper guidance that they should be getting. It's unfortunate, really, and this is why there are a lot of these cycles of suffering, because a lot of parents just never take the time to work on themselves, or they straight up don't know how to, and then they end up raising kids and instilling all their trauma and insecurities in their own children, and it creates cycles of suffering. So it's really unfortunate, but that's basically the gist for how there are so many toxic people out there. It's basically a bunch of people who are raised by broken parents, who then become broken kids, and then later on broken adults, and they just don't know how to be a better person because nobody instilled it in them, and all their conditioning is just basically survival mode. And survival mode doesn't really teach you to care much about other people and their feelings, so you'll naturally be a bit more toxic. You'll be rude to others, you won't care about it at all. You won't care about being accepted by other people and fitting into groups and that sort of thing. It just won't really matter to someone who's had that kind of upbringing. So there you go. It's really unfortunate, but I just wanted to make this video to kind of provide some understanding on why there's so many toxic people out there. You can basically just boil it down to people needing to work on themselves, but not knowing how to, not having the tools needed to do it, or even sometimes just straight up refusing to do it because it's difficult. And if you have parents who fall into those same categories, well, they raise kids with a bunch of problems. So these cycles just end up repeating, and you end up with a lot of toxic adults, and nothing really changes. It's really unfortunate. And that's one of the big reasons why I make these videos, to try to help people avoid all these issues so that they don't create cycles of suffering themselves. Because really, it's up to us to end them, right? Like, I didn't come from a cycle of suffering, thankfully. I mean, my family's not perfect, but still, they did the best they could to raise me, and that only makes me want to do an even better job with my own future children. All of us should have that same mentality, or at least those of us who want kids. We should all strive to raise them as best we can so that we're not going to be creating more toxic adults in the world. The world doesn't need any more of them. There are plenty of them out there now, especially with social media and the internet. It's so easy for all these people to be anonymous and therefore bring out the worst in themselves and not care at all. I mean, I'm a gamer, take it from me. I have encountered so many toxic gamers throughout my decade, or it's been longer than that, career of gaming. And it's unfortunate, right? Like, there are just a lot of people out there who are hurting inside, and they take that out on the world around them. They just don't care about other people's feelings because they're focused on themselves. They're in survival mode, which naturally means you're going to be a bit selfish. You're not going to be thinking about others because you're focused on yourself. So it happens. All you can really do is strive to just avoid these people once they make themselves known. Do not play their stupid games. Don't argue with them. Don't allow yourself to get sucked into their negativity, because that's basically all toxic people want to do. Misery loves company, so they're going to try to bring you down so that you'll feel the same way they do. And yeah, just avoid it. Don't let them faze you. Don't take anything they say personally. Just shrug it off and just remind yourself, good people, happy people do not treat other people this way. So as soon as someone is being rude like that, being toxic towards you, you immediately know this isn't a good person. And it doesn't even matter whether or not that's their fault. It is what it is. You can't argue that everybody has some responsibility for being a better human being, but like I said, there are a lot of people who don't have the tools or just don't even want to put in that work. So it doesn't matter whether or not someone's toxic by any fault of their own. As soon as they're toxic, just avoid them. Easy as that. Don't try to save them either. Don't play their dumb games. Just avoid them. It's the best thing to do for your mental health. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. I just want to kind of explore the psychology of toxic people, knowing that we live in this very connected age of the internet and social media, and with that you can encounter a lot of toxic people. And going about your day, if you happen to be scrolling social media or anything, you will see so many people out there who just aren't great. So it's unfortunate, but again, just don't worry about it. Don't take anything they say seriously and just keep moving forward. But that's all I have for you guys. I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, feel free to leave a like on it for the algorithm. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about this. And I have coaching calls available to you at my website that I will link below on YouTube. If you're on a different social media platform, it'll probably be my bio instead. But I'm just here to help you guys out as best I can, because that's pretty much my goal, to avoid a lot of these cycles of suffering and as many people as I can help while I'm still here living in this flesh suit until it finally gives up on me and I'm no longer here. But until that point, my goal is to help as many people as possible. So feel free to tap that resource if you think that it would be helpful for you. But that's all I have for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Arrivederci.